It's been a wonderful time presenting with you. I do want to apologize again for the poor internet service last week, and I'm still trying to prepare that video and find a good way to send it to you all for the hula of Lonoikamakahiki, the instructional video. Now, so for today, I know our kind of the topic we wanted to focus on is a particular aspect of Makahiki, which is very well known, and actually I would say is quite critical, played quite a critical role into the revival of Makahiki, and that has to do with the Pa'ani Makahiki. Yeah, Pa'ani Makahiki are the Makahiki games. For many of our school students, for many of us who grew up in Hawaiʻi and attended school, it's probably our first introduction to Makahiki was basically learning about this seasonal shift that takes place in Hawaiʻi. But of course, as young kids, perhaps the biggest thing that grabbed us was these games, these traditional games that came forth and that was practiced during this time of year. So today I want to share with you a little bit of the background, some of the mo'olelo that we have, that are stories and history that comes along with these games. And then today I want to get you guys up, and we're going to be doing some, not quite exercise, but I want you guys to actually participate and learn some of these games today. Unfortunately, I don't have my pakana or my partner with me today to help to do to show it. So I'm going to ask for some volunteers here. And perhaps I'm going to ask for a quick technical question. Is it possible? Is there a way to be able to show somebody else's video but still hear my voice?
Yeah,
so can do. Okay, they will do like that. So I'll give instructions, and we'll take turns. Maybe if those of you guys, most of these games you have a partner. And for today, I was going to focus on and kind of share with you guys some games that aren't that commonly known. There's a number of games too, and also a lot of these types, there are a number of different games that are more well known, and they have different types of implements that you use, which I don't have any of these types of implements. So I'm going to show you more of the hand-to-hand games. And I'll share you a little bit as well too as how we here in Hawaii and now in the 21st century, how we are reviving this aspect of Makahiki beyond even just our learning about it in school and in class, and how it's actually growing to be an intrinsic part of our communities. So yeah, so ayan ka Pa'ani Makahiki. So I guess let's start right now. We're going to start in by kaheain, or to kind of call in that energy of Lono. And if you guys got to join in our first papa, I shared with you a chant, O wahi mai e Lono. And so let's open up. I'm going to really open it up with that. Yeah. And remember, we're cracking open. We want to open everything up for it, ready to receive all this energy that has to do with Lono. Okay, so follow along, makakau. Okay, hope you guys can practice. Yeah, I never teach you guys. You guys just like put them on save in your computer. So makakau kako. Voila. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi o luna, o wahi o lalo, wahi gauga, o wahi ke kai. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi o luna, o wahi o lalo, wahi gauga, o wahi ke kai. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi mai e Lono e. O wahi o luna, o wahi o lalo, wahi gauka, o wahi ke kai. O wahi mai e Lono energy, this activating energy of this time of year. Just to pull us back, this is our season of the resounding, that which shakes and vibrates, the coming of Lono, that which will penetrate into the earth to stimulate from within. The great au pano pano, au ele ele, the big billowing black clouds that bring us the thunder and the torrential downpours, that comes on the kona winds, the heralding crackling thunders. It is the ʻolaʻi, the season of quakes. It is the season of kanalu nui, of the great waves. So much action during this time of year. So now, bringing it back to one of our mo'olelo. So there is a mo'olelo that speaks of Lonoikamakahiki he ali'i, the High Chief Lonoikamakahiki, going back to I want to say like maybe perhaps the 14th century, 14th, 15th century. Don't quote me on that one. And Lonoikamakahiki was born in ʻOlekona, the Ko'ihonua, or the Kumulipo, the genealogy chain of Kumulipo is one that is connected, was said to be his Ko'ihonua. Lonoikamakahiki at this time, this chief Lono, he had a lot of different aspects that go into his story, and we're going to focus on one particular aspect. There is a mo'olelo that speaks of a time where he was betrayed. He was betrayed by a friend, one who he called a friend, and he was betrayed because his friend had a jealousy. This jealousy of his friend led him to lie to Lonoikamakahiki about the faithfulness of his wife. And in this, hearing that his wife was unfaithful to him, and he had a jealous fit. And in this jealous rage, he actually assaulted her and practically nearly put her to death. And he actually thought that he had killed her in his rage. And then the truth was revealed, that it was a lie, that they say even with her dying words, she portrayed her devotion and her honesty to him, and what he thought was her dying words. And in this, when it was all revealed to him, they say that he kind of lost himself in the dread, in the guilt of what he had done, and how he had in a way now betrayed his own love out of the jealous fit, being from the fake news that was told to him. And so in that, they said he went on to almost a suicidal type of holo, where he went out and he challenged people in all different types of things, and games and wrestling and boxing, and just in some way he wanted to be beaten. He wanted to be beaten down, and even some would say he wanted to die. But Lonoikamakahiki was so fit in so much of these games, and he was so tactful and well trained, that he actually excelled and could not find an equal as he traversed around the island, challenging people at village after village. He was able to beat everybody in all these games. And so he really could not find this release that he was seeking for. Until eventually it kind of drove him mad, and he sailed off and got himself lost on the island of Kauai. And he had a loyal friend that went with him and cared for him during this time of craziness. But some say that from that huaka'i, where he went and he challenged all the way around the island, that from that actually became the circuit of tournaments. Yeah, this, the word went of this chief that could not be beat, and so young warriors and chiefs would gather to try and continue to one up each other, to challenge each other to who could actually excel in these games. in these challenges. So I'm not going to go into the full depth of that mo'olelo because that's the whole ka'au. But in one mo'olelo, that speaks to, again, the circuit of tournaments. So ikawakahiko, in the days of old, if you remember from our earlier class, there were a couple of things that were not allowed during the Makahiki season. Yes, as we talked about a lot of societal changes that took place. So there was a particular aspect that, or one political aspect that shifted during this time. Sorry, I'm seeing in my camera that my tooth over here is acting up and they're driving me nuts. That in politics, yeah, right now, a lot of mea ku was put to rest, yeah, things that reside under ku, the god ku ended, yeah, or was ceased during this time of year. So a lot of political shifts and political actions ceased. And one particular aspect, no war, yeah, there was no war, or anything in that manner allowed during the Makahiki season. So if your function was a warrior, what you gonna do during this time of year? Yeah, so how could the warriors continue to maintain their physique, to keep their sharpen their skills? Many people also attribute these games to being the way that warriors could keep and hone their skills during this season. But it opened up broadly to much of the community. As Mike Kumu shared, that Makahiki was really a time to expo excellence, yeah? To expo and to kulia ikanu'u, to strive for one's bestest and the excellence, and to ho'ike that. Remember, I've kind of shared over the past couple of papa of that time of giving thanks. But how did we give thanks? Besides the prayers that literally say mahalo ena, to giving thanks that way, but to expo that, to show, you had to ho'ike and present, yeah, the best, your gratitude in what you have developed, how you have grown during the rest of the year. So part of that, in the expoing of that, was not just, the arts and the crafts and all that, but even the physique of the people. To be able to ho'ike and present, that you are the strongest, you are the fastest of your area, and this was also a time because chiefs weren't, if there was conflict between chiefs or the chiefs, just trying to one up each other, presenting their swiftest man and challenging each other in that way, or who was skillful in the mind, and perhaps if it was on konane or Hawaiian checkers, there was games that challenged almost every aspect of the human body and mind that you can think of. We had so many different types of games, and a lot of them required a lot of different skills, and different types of skills. Some of it was just sheer bravery, like who's actually got the guts to do it, and or even testing power of the mind or strength of the mind to overcome pain, or to be able to strategize. So games that challenge and explode on the excellence of every individual, or everybody could step up and ho'ike and present their own individual strengths. So in that, it really is, even the games, so these tournaments, some is associated that this is part of the ho'ike or the presentation with the procession of chiefs. So there's a particular ceremony that would take place annually with the Makahiki. I kind of mentioned it last week, and it had to do with the procession of the high chief. For Hawaiʻi Island in particular, it is said that our ali'i would gather at the southwest point of the island at the bay of Kealakekua. Looking at the name Kealakekua, Kealakeakua, the pathway of the gods. And in the Kawakahiko, they say that is where Lono, when Lono returned, bringing the bountifulness and the rain, it is there where he arrives, yeah? And there at Kealakekua, at the point where they say that he comes ashore and where there to greet him is the heiau, or the temple of Hikiau, yeah? Hikiau, the return of the current, and Au, Some would say, I've heard people translate it different ways. Hikiao, the arrival of this time, the arriving of this light, the arriving of this dawn, the arriving of this cloud, hikiao. Some say hikiau, some say hikiao. So I've heard the difference. I'm just sharing with you all the different spaces. Some people were even confrontational. I'm like, no, it's this way. Some say, no, it's this way. So this is the Manaʻo of the collective. See us Hawaiian people. So first we're like, it could be this, it could be that, it could be that, it could be that. Who's correct? Or you just say everybody and we all good? Okay. The main thing that we know that is where the arrival of the akua would come. Yeah. So it is at this heiau that this procession was to begin. And it's for the next couple of months, yeah, or the ali'i would then traverse the island. Yeah? And as they did this huaka'i, they'd walk in I guess, if you're looking from above onto the island, they're walking in a clockwise, yeah, clockwise around the island. So starting from the southwest, and they would move up through Kona, making their way up to Kohala, over through Hamakua, down to Hilo, to Puna, down through Ka'u, and then coming back up South Kona, back to Kealakekua. And following Alakakai, the Kuleana, they also would stop at every single ahupua'a. Yeah? So as you may commonly know as ahupua'a, as those land divisions, yeah, different land divisions, from a moku or mokupuni, from an island, to the moku, the individual districts, down to the ahupua'a, yeah, and even within the ahupua'a, you have the ili. Yeah? So in ahupua'a, along the alakakai, which is the primary trail or road that goes around the entire island, you knew when you were entering into a new ahupua'a, because along the road, there was literally the ahupua'a. There was literally an altar, which would be adorned with the head of a pig, yeah, the carving of a head of a pig. Now we've heard different Manaʻo on this. I've heard two particular, one saying that it was carved from kukui wood, which is a very soft wood and that had to be renewed regularly. And I've heard people say that they would use lama. So different Manaʻo. But nonetheless, that there was a carving of a pua'a's head situated on top of this ahu. And this ahu, as well as being the boundary marker that showed, that you are entering into new space, this is the ahu, or the altar, where the people of that ahu pua'a would arrive and to greet this procession of chiefs. So as the ali'i would arrive, yeah, some would refer to this as the taxation. Yeah, this is now also tax season. Oh, not exactly the part that we would like, huh? But in this, Manaʻo is that, these are your ali'i. These are the chiefs that have presided over the land. They defended you, they protected you, they provided for you, should have made sure. They make sure that our communities are intact. And so this is a time where now everybody at the ahupua'a would bring the bestest of their best. This is that presentation, that whole ʻike, to present the excellence. Have they been productive throughout the year? Yeah? And all of this, as it was whole ʻike, was actually gifted to the ali'i. And the ali'i would receive. So if you're mahiai, you bring the best of your crop. You want a whole ʻike that you got the biggest, bestest ulu or the biggest kalo. If whatever your trait was, whatever your occupation, that's how you would whole ʻike. So this might be also marked. This procession would actually carry the lono banners, yeah, the akua loa and the akua poko, which is if you see the flyer for this. For these events, you see that image of the banner of Lono, which is kind of the T-cross, that has the large white kapa banners that hang down and would be decorated with different types of foliage and manu and birds. And those birds that hang, I've heard different Manaʻo as well. Some refer that they were actually the blue-footed booby bird. Others say that it was the moli or the albatross. But these two birds that hung on the side. And then the top of this crossbow is the aloha lono, or the face of Lono at the top. So this akua loa, the long one, and then there was akua poko in the back of the procession. These two banners would both lead and end the procession of the chiefs. Yeah, and as this procession went around the island, that was the arrival there. But prior to this, of course, right now, like actually we're coming into the season right now, so people are beginning their kuapola ceremonies, which was predominantly a puliana of the ali'i and the kahuna in the days of old. But today, to perpetuate that, we have a lot of our ʻohana who are practitioners of this, who are conducting those kuapola ceremonies, which has to do with the feeding of the past, of the time, the seasons that gave us everything, and transitioning us. Yeah, kind of even the wahi'a kaniu, the cracking of the coconut onto the altars to wash and begin the new. Yeah. It's all about that puka and breaking into the next section, So with this, all the heiaus have shifted. Yeah, any ku heiaus, the ku ki'is are dropped. The kapaula, or the red kappas of lono of ku, would be released, and the white kappas or the white leppas would be flying on the heiaus. And so it's a full transition, and that within each area, the main heiau kind of signify that for the community. Of course, everyone's trained in knowing the moons and the stars, marking this pivotal shift in time. So this procession now, as they arrive, again, all this is presented. And this is also said to be when most of these great tournaments took place. And the villages would host these big tournaments. Now, it's not quite laid out exactly. We're not exactly sure how it went. I'm not sure if it was every single ahupua'a, but that there are certain points where you had kahua makahiki. And these kahua makahiki are traditional great, how would you say, fields. That was where the makahiki tournaments took place. Now, I'm guessing, and as we're trying to still uncover these things, that there were particular places where all these ahupua'a would, they would send their bestest, and ali'i would send their bestest, and they would gather. So it wasn't necessarily every single ahupua'a, but when the chiefs arrived at the kahua makahiki, that is where all the villages, all the ahupua'a, everyone would gather together, traversing through each other's places to come to these big tournaments. One, for instance, that is a wonderful thing I know down in Na'alehu, in Ka'u, right below Na'alehu town, there is a big area that has been laying under pasture for a long time, but only recently it has come up and it has been discovered. And thankfully, it was discovered that this was the kahua makahiki for that area. This was the field where the tournaments took place. And the community actually brought that back up, and they were able to stop. They were planning to put a sewer treatment plant sitting right there. And the community actually got that stopped. And part of it, I think this is a beckoning of our time right now, is it's not just about stopping things for the sake of preserving, because we are still in our reawakening. So now people, our communities are coming back to not just to stop and protect something that there was, but reactivate these things. And I know there's a community effort being led in Ka'u to actually help to reopen this kahua makahiki. And their goal eventually is to be able to host these tournaments once again. I know in Hamakua, there's recently been an area that they're guessing it was a kahua makahiki. So different mokus had their different fields. So this was also a time when the ali'i arrived this area for now to also, we see the bountiful and the meahana in that which was made and that which was grown, or that which was caught or fished or raised. But now let's check you out. Yeah, I want to see the bountifulness and the health of your community, of your people. Yeah, we want to see, are the people being, is the body physique strong, or is the will, is the strength of the people? So everyone would present now their fastest runners. So this is the tournament. The games themselves was a way for the community to expose their bestest athletes, intelligence, and on all different manners such as this. So for me, what's been really beautiful is highlighting that aspect. That, right now, especially because here in Hawaii, and for many different communities around the world, health statistics are at an all-time low. Yeah, and that bears, the Native Hawaiians, we lead in all of the worst health statistics. And yet here we are looking back into our history, and we hear of such a strong and healthy physique of our own people. You know, it was told to me at one point, Uncle Kindy Sproat shared a quote from Captain James Cook's journal. Captain Cook wrote when he arrived into Kealakekua, he mentioned that in his journal he actually wrote, "These are the finest specimen of human being I've ever seen." That's a huge statement, yeah. And he describes about the physique of the Kanaka, down to their shimmering bodies, because Kanaka always used to oil, yeah, they kept the skin oiled, the hair oiled, and the shimmering physique of the people. Wrote extensively of our agriculture and all these things. So if in the 21st century, yeah, where humanity is supposed to have now been excelling and moving forward, why do we see our own species going backwards, yeah, in our own health, mentally, physically, and foundationally, probably spiritually? Yeah. So this is a very important aspect, I think, that's important as we are reviving this tradition, is that, and concept of Makahiki is how are we really maintaining aina, yeah, our productivity and care for aina, and in that, our own health and well-being, yeah. So, okay, before I go off so much into that, but this was also now, through this, we're also introducing, with all this food being shared, yeah, and ho'ike and presented to the ali'i, it is said that a sign of approval for this area was a return of much of this to the people, yeah, and a way of giving it back to the people as approval. And one reference speaks that then this is the feast. So everything is presented and given to the ali'i. Of course, the ali'i will take the choice. They will take, they will receive certain things, and then they would actually host, yeah, a great feast, yeah, at these tournaments. So people are coming from all around, all the neighboring ahupuas coming together, feasting on the food. The ali'is are presiding over this. But this was also, again, the lessening and bringing down of the kapu, the strict kapus. Many ali'i, not all ali'i, but what do you call it? It loosened, yeah, it kind of loosened the kapus quite a bit, so that the ali'i could actually mingle with their people more. Yeah, before, Kanaka, you couldn't just go wherever you wanted in the old days too. A lot of times, people kind of stuck to their own area. But now the land is made free, Noah. Yeah, Noah from the kapu. So there's a lot more people coming in and sharing, and this is how everyone came and presented and go see ʻohana, and this was that time of year. So in this ceremony, in these rituals, yeah, we find that in the celebration, yeah. So it wasn't two separate things. There was the celebrations themselves was a ritual. It was part of a ceremony. The ceremony, not all ceremonies need to be sitting quiet, ceremonies is when we are playing and we are laughing and we are enjoying, and the hula this is a big hula season too. Everyone, the dancers are out, because hey, I tell you, the halaus compete. Yes, everybody's showing off their best right now. Yeah, so there was competition. The halaus are out and they're performing and they're telling their mo'olelos. The chanters are doing their mo'olelos, and everyone is just giving. So it was very festive. And yes, there was a lot of competition. Kanakas, I know some people don't compete. Oh, Kanaka compete. We are very competitive people. Extremely sometimes. But what's important to remember is that healthy competition for the idea of excelling to excellence, yeah? To recognize when, the strengths of others, yeah, to lift each other up. That is probably a very important aspect that gets lost in a lot of translation. And I'm sure it was more of a, a value, as much as it was a rule or anything during Kabakahiko, but it was an aspect, because one thing that presides over all this, Lono, is peace. Yeah, it was a time of peace. That's why we celebrate, we play, we give honor. The war stops, big politics, not done with this. And I've heard mo'olelo too of even of particular battles and confrontations between neighboring districts or chiefs that, you know, they fought all the way up until Makahiki was declared, and then no more hakaka, and in between. Now, of course, on the Kahua Makahiki, you might see that guy over there that you had issues with. Yeah, we had scrapping before, but now, you know, Makahiki we cannot, but I still see you. So what do you think? What do you think happened on that field? I challenge you. The other aspect that came in here, gambling. Oh yes, Kanaka gambled. Yeah, place your bets. Who's gonna win this one? I bet you 10 pigs they're gonna win this one. Yes, there was competition. There was the betting. It was all part of this celebration. I'm not. That's just an aspect. We can look at what it is today, but in our days of our kupuna, they gambled, they played, they placed their bets up and down on every single game. And also, like again in this presentation, know that the chiefs are also watching. They were scouting. They're watching to see who is that fastest runner. They might be passing by and in some random village, just opportunity to think about, like today, you know, a lot of communities and you know, our athletes, they want to be seen. So this was an opportunity for the young bucks of the community to come up and, you know, chiefs are here and they want to compete. They're boxing or running or whatever it may be, because hey, maybe I'll get good, maybe I'll get noticed. Yeah. So bring all of this in. This is all part of it, and it's the foundation of the Makahiki. It was a time to expo, and in the expoing of excellence, know that people are taking account of what they're observing during this time, so that when business starts back up, when kapu and everything comes back up, like, hey, remember we was back in that village in Hamakua, and you remember that young boy with that fastest runner? I want him. Go bring him into the court. He will be my kukini. Hey, you remember that halau that we saw in Ka'u? I like them. I thought they were really good. Yeah, they will be the halau for my court. Yeah. So everyone's kind of, hey, you remember we're at the feast at the Kawa Makahiki, those guys brought all that ulu. Oh, bro, I had so much ulu. We're gonna go talk story, maybe we could trade with them. Yeah. I've also heard during this time, it was not a time for commerce. Yeah. It was not a time for trade. It was a time for just sharing and giving. Yeah. Sharing more like. Again, now you take note. Oh, they had good ulu over there. So that when Makahiki Pau, and we're getting back into the Hana, I'm going to remember, okay, they had good ulu. And you know what? I get them in Opelu, so maybe now back at commerce time, we're going to start working on a trade with that Agua. Everyone comes together. Yeah? Okay, now I'm going on and on and on. I know you're like, oh, let's play a game. Okay, so in that, just trying to dress up and give you the image of that. Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to give you one more image. So now, what did the Kahua Makahiki look like? What did the field and tournament look like? You know, there is some illustrations from early ship logs that do depict Makahiki fields. I'm trying to remember, there's that one book. Oh, I can't remember the title, but the whole front of it is a big picture of a Kahua Makahiki. You see men boxing, and you can see everybody standing in the background, and you can see the Lonomakua banner. And I remember reading gosh, what is the name of that book? It's been years, but I was reading this. There's one book that's a compilement of all these early ship logs. And I think it was from Vancouver. It wasn't from him, but it was somebody on one of Vancouver ships. And he was writing the description of what this field of Makahiki. And he describes thousands of natives and all coming in and this bustle and excitement of children running and playing and seeing them climbing up the coconut trees to try and get a good view of the boxing match. He described a field that with tall banners of flowing colors. Yeah, so they decked it up. Remember, I said this time everybody showed off their bestest. So everyone imagined this event. Everybody showing up to this big event. Food on the field. You had your ali'i present. Everyone is dressed in their finest. You had all the athletes going and games happening all around and feasting and hula and chant and oh, how festive, and decorated fields decorated with massive flowing panels of color and designs. Just, oh, I remember reading that text. I was like, dang, our people know how to party. Yes, it's a big paina. So just paint that picture there. Something I've been working to one day I want to restore and actually throw a Makahiki tournament like that. Decked out. Yeah. So here we go, Kako. So that is a little bit more just kind of helping to paint the picture of the games, as well as the games as we play them, a place where they inserted into the Makahiki time and season, but also what they did socially, in society. They affected all these things, yeah, from the ali'i to the maka'ainana. Yeah, it gives everybody a chance to come together, healthy competition. It sets the field for socialization amongst different groups. You had even sometimes warring chiefs coming in. I started to say it. You know, where you had maybe chiefs in conflict, where sometimes at the tournaments they settled their disputes. Yeah, through gambling. Sometimes it was a bet or something. You know, I'm going to set my best boxer against your best boxer, and you know, what's the wager? Instead of going back to war when everything is done after this, we'll do it on this game. We'll wager it right now. Yeah, your guy win. Okay, you win. Yeah, and then whatever terms from there. It's been told. Yeah. So, all right. So that's hopefully painted that picture of the kahua makahiki and the playing field and the resounding and the presentation of these games. So before we get into getting up and getting some physical action going on, is there any need now or questions on that or thoughts? Take a moment. How you guys? Oh my God. Okay. Whew. So, you ready? Okay. So again, I'm gonna share. Was there a particular? Oh, sorry, I just saw that question pop up. But I'm on my phone, so where's the chat? Oh, there they are. Okay. Were there any particular Mara'i for this time? You know, I have not. Oops, did I do that right? I haven't heard of any particulars that are like designated. Well, you know what? Take that back. One food that kind of became more available at this time and was now being consumed a little bit more on the wide was pork. Pua'a. Remember this. In Hawaiian tradition, Hawaiian diet did not consist very much at all of pork. We were not heavy pork eaters. Pua'a was reserved for only ceremonial practices and or special occasions. And Makahiki season is kind of part of that time. It was a time that the pua'a was laid out now, and part of the big luau and that feasting. It is also the imbibing of kino laualono. Yeah, during this time of year, and those of us who are over here, we kind of know the pua'a start going off. They everywhere right now. It's like mating season around here. So get plenty pua'a available. So during this time of year, this was one of the few times where pua'a would be eaten more. Because the ceremony, there is feast. This is a celebration. Again, not in super heavy quantities, but pua'a was there. Other than that, I know there's more detail when it comes to the fish. Certain fish are now coming into season more at this time as well. And again, with a lot of chicken. Well, that's kind of regular. Another thing that's signature during this time, kind of more a little bit later into the season, you have more eating of like kolea, the plover. We'll eat you next. Plover are migratory birds because now they're coming. It's coming to winter season. They are arriving. So just kind of, again, eating with the seasons, you had arrival of particular fish and manu and birds, those migratory birds that normally are not available other times of the year. So kind of that's about some of the realms of the ceremonial or of foods of the season. It's actually a great sound to have because you hear a lot of that because guess what, Hawaiians, one of their games, I know, don't get mad, but our people did do chicken fight. Yeah, there was chicken. And we had our own chicken fight, where like human style chicken fight, and then they used to fight some more. Yeah. So with that, any other now? Any other questions? That was a good one. Yeah, I was feasting during this time. Was that it? Okay. So, all right. Okay. So this we're gonna learn a few games. So Lei, was there another question? Was Makahiki performed prior to Pa'au? Ooh, good question. As far as I know, I don't believe so. Probably not as we know Makahiki now. This has a lot to do again with the concept of Lono, and those the primary deities that we know in Polynesia, Ku, Kane, Lono, Kanaloa, quite prominent Polynesian gods, yeah, and that is said to come with and or following Pa'au. So, and remember, different aspects of this, like the tournaments too, and these games and everything, they came about also with warrior culture. You know, the story of Lonoikamakahiki that kind of ties in. I've heard some accounts that is kind of part of like this regiment time, yeah. Not regiment. What am I saying? The circuit of tournaments and such. So pre-contact, there may have definitely been a concept of Makahiki, but probably not in this way, you know, and the kuleana of ali'i and such, because remember, pre-Pa'au, we didn't have the ali'i system, we didn't have the kapu system, there was no warrior culture, wasn't really in Hawaii prior to Pa'au. The whole political shift with the heiaus, none of that existed prior to Pa'au, yeah? So most likely, but the concept of understanding the arrival and the shifting of seasons and the arrival of the Maka or the Pleiades, again, there's not much documentation that we have to go on pre-Pa'au. So I'm going to take a hypothesis and say that probably most likely the Makahiki season tournament as we acknowledge it now definitely didn't exist prior to that. Yeah? So again, we are a living culture, so we can see where these ceremonies began. Of course, what they're signaling and connected to have been for hundreds and thousands and millions of years, even though wind patterns shift, you know, celestial body alignments, okay? Which again, now I want to just add one more component in there to remember that as you see it happening here in Hawaii, recognize that this is very similar to other things, yeah? Other cultures around the world during this time of year, you saw the same thing. At the root of it too, part of maybe one of the other good tap roots, this is the harvest, yeah? It is the harvest season. We are just coming out of our summer. Everything is really bountiful, so we're harvesting. Thanksgiving, the original, prior to the Pilgrim whole story, but the timing of this has to do with the great harvest. With the harvesting, everybody was able to share and the feast. And there's games and stuff all over. Olympics. The Olympics goes back to Greek practices and traditions of the harvest season, and kind of similar. This is the time for sports and tournaments and such. Okay? So yeah. I think I saw a question there. If Wahine were involved, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Wahine participated. I'm not too sure in what level of detail. What I have been told and I've learned is that there were particular games that the Wahine didn't involve themselves with because they were kind of brutal And like Hawaiian warfare, yes, we had warrior women, but it was something that they didn't quite use the slashing or the cutting types of weapons, those weapons that truly are like the killing weapons. It was more a lot of women like were famous for like the kama'a, the sling, or the pikoi, the wrapping and the tripping stone, and they would fight side by side with the kane. So the women may take someone down, but it's the kane who would deliver the death blow. And that has to do that because the natural anatomy of the woman is to bear life, to bring life in, and therefore it was almost seen as tainting a woman for them to have to take life. Yeah? So to preserve that mana of the wahine, yeah, not to taint their mana with killing. Yeah. So because I will share that there were some sports that were, you could die. Yeah, even their Makahiki time, there are some sports that were pretty gnarly, and it is known people would die during the games, whether it be because of jumping off a cliff and they didn't land right or stuff like that, to kind of violent games like Hawaiian boxing was pretty brutal, and there are stories of people who were killed in these games. So some of those kind of games, I know that the wahine didn't quite engage with those. And that's some of that manao. But of course, you had your ali'i wahine who still came in. They participated in many other aspects as well. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Any other ninao? If not, we're gonna get ready to play. That was about our introduction. The end of the last half hour with Pahina. Yeah. We good? Kai?
You know.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start off with, see if we can squeeze in about 4 or 5 games today. Okay. So volunteer. Now you got to have 2 people. Yeah. Volunteers. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to work tech wisely, but if you want to, how can we do this?
I can I can spotlight their video. And
okay.
Yeah, so funny. There's 2 people with their cameras on that have 2 people in each of the camera.
Oh, yep, you're on. Everybody's always going to pick me. I'm going to hide my screen.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have volunteers.
I can see you.
Why, who's hide?
Me, my kahoku is trying to hide.
Okay, it's going to be a fun game. Okay, and I'm just going to go with maybe a little bit more the easier games and then get a little bit more elaborate. Okay, so now if you're not highlighted or anything, but you have a friend or somebody you can play with, try them out. It'll be fun. Okay, so this first game is called Pa'ilima. Okay, Pa'ilima. Yeah, literally mean what? Hand slap. Yeah. So Pa'ilima is fun. There's different ways you can kind of play it and stuff too. And of course, you go different places to get different rules. But I'm going to share how I learned. So principle thing. Okay. Oh, you're making it then. Okay. So here we go. You ready, girls? Who's going? You guys going to go do this? You guys go get this one. Okay. All right. So first thing, okay, your feet. Let me see my feet. Your feet need to be popped together, side by side, sealed up. Okay, heels together, big toes together. Okay, and that foot is not allowed to separate. If your toes just separate a little, you're out. If your heels separate a little, you're out. Okay, but you do have the opportunity to rock. Yeah, so if your feet kind of go up, heels and toes going up and down like this, that's okay. Okay, but you cannot like travel and your toes cannot open. Okay. And really, the big thing, I'm going to give you guys a hint. All the action is going to be happening on top, but the whole game is really at the feet. Yeah. So normally you have a uau. So that's a word for everybody. Uau, and uau is like your referee or your judge, and the uau is watching those feet. Now we're kind of watching everything, but that's the big part right there. Okay. So you have your feet together. Now you and the 2 of you guys, you can face each other. Alo ahe alo, face each other. Okay. And you're going to be 1 lima apart, only 1 hand space apart. Okay. Don't reach like this. You're going to be kind of close. So 1 hand space apart. No, only 1 hand, not the 2 hands. Only 1 person's hand. Yeah. Like that. Okay? So, and now you're going to bring your hands up right here. Okay? And good thing is to, I'm giving you my tips already. Keep your knees loose, okay? And the object of the game is to get your opponent, of course, is to get the other person to lose their balance and or shift their feet. But to do that, you can only slap each other's hands, okay? So we normally begin hand to hand, and we go 1, 2, 3, game on, okay? So, and now here's the big one. So it's pa'i, yeah, not pahu. So your hands aren't going to be together and pushing. It's only like quick hits like that, back and forth, okay? And normally it's a 2-hand hit, so it's not single hand. It's 2-hand action, okay? Oh, there we go. Cameras are moving. There we go. There you go. Yeah. And so when we begin, you're gonna begin with 1, 2, 3, and then game is on, and the object, yeah, go, paka, paka. And you're gonna try to get that. Whoa! Oh, easy there, Tiger. Okay. So ready? One more time. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. Game on. Ooh, 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 vicious, vicious. Okay, so here's another thing. So your hands are here. Okay, when you hit, you can dodge. Okay, so a lot of times what happens too. So when you make contact, yeah, you can get the other person off balance there, and or by dodging, you can move your hands out of the way and get the other person to lose their balance that way. Okay, so now adding that in there, here's a safety precaution. Everybody, safety precaution, safety precaution. Don't put your hand by your face, okay? Because your partner is aiming for your hand. So if your hand is by your face, you're either going to catch your own hand, or you're going to open up and they're going to catch you in your face. You'll win that round because they're not allowed to touch your face, but it's going to cost you a bloody nose. So don't do that, okay? So safety is keep your hands in this area here, okay? And it's only if you're dodging, you cannot stand like this. You cannot make like that. You can just quickly dodge a hit or a strike. Okay, so dodging and or hitting, ready? So start with the 3, ready and go. 1, 2, 3, game on. Okay, so that is pa'i lima. Now me and my friends, you know, it's really fun to do too. We would actually, and other ways we've done this too, is sometimes we don't play necessarily with just the feet, and because again, if your feet open and stuff, that's also how you can lose. But sometimes we'll get a pohaku or stone, and we both standing on our stone, and the object is to get the other person to fall off their stone. When we play it like that, you can be one-legged in action, but you got to get back to the. If you put your foot off the ground, you lose. Sometimes we play this in the river. You know, we're standing on a rock in the river, push the other person off. Yeah? But it really is about the balance. You know, using your knees. That's the key thing. ʻAha. That balance with the ʻaha. Also having strength in that hand for the strike, but also try this. Okay. Mema, hold your hands up to kahoku. Now I want you to relax. Just relax your arms. Okay. Kahoku. I want you to give her a strong pa'i. Pa'i those hands. Go. Yeah. You see the relax. Pew. Pew. So different. I'm giving you all my tactics already too. Yeah. So you can be set, but if your hands are relaxed and they hit hard, boom, you're just gonna flow off. Yeah. But if you keep your arms, okay. Now, Mema, make your hands real strong, real tight, real tight. Now, Kahoku, give her a hit. Yeah, watch out. So you see where if you made, so it really is feeding your body. That's an interesting thing about these games. They really make you conscious of our body, yeah? So if you're holding yourself solid, it's like wall to wall. You gotta just take the hit. If you relax, how you can let it just flow off, yeah? And then you start to see the skilled players. Sometimes these games can last almost 20 minutes because they really, really feeding each other out, okay? Okay, one more time. Let's all watch one more time, okay? Makakau. Ready? And oya. Kahi, lua, kolu, game on. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, see, now there's more tactic going on in here. Mai kai. Oh yeah. So this is Pa'ilima. Okay, good game to start with. And now analyze what's happening. You got balance. Yeah, there's a lot of balance in here. There's strategy. There's technique. Okay, there's a lot of really neat stuff with that one. Mai kai. Okay. I see Nicholas, and is that Nicholas and
Kaliko. Nicholas and Kaliko.
Okay. Your turn. I look, the teacher puts me on the spot. Yep. Let's see. We go watch one more. Game. Okay. Try go. Give them go try. Okay. So remember, from the bottom, you can put your feet together. Yeah, we probably won't be able to see all of you. That's okay. So your feet are together. You're about one arm's length apart. Yeah. Okay. Feet are tight. Heels are tight. Toes are together. You guys can look a little far apart. Go a little bit closer together. Yeah. That's about right. Okay. Ready? And you're gonna go one. Give 1, 2, 3. Game on. Ooh. My God, you never take out one table over there. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, so one more time, one more round. We play best out of 3. Yeah. Ready? Go a little bit closer. You get a little far apart. A little bit closer. There you go. Ready? Oh yeah. Kahi, lua, kolu. Go. Hey, I thought you would touch his chest. If you touch any other part of the body, you out. Okay, so now we even. We 1 and 1, yeah. Because I'm just guessing from what I'm seeing. So I'm gonna say, wait, sorry. Which one is Nicholas? Nicholas, wave at me.
Nicholas, wave it, Uncle. Wave at the camera, Nicholas. Yeah.
Okay, so Nicholas, you ain't gonna touch Kahiko's chest on that one, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that no count. So now we 1 and 1. So here we go. Game point. Ready? Oh yeah, go. Kahi, lua, kolu. Game on. Whoop. Oh yeah, mai kai loa. Good job, boys. Mai kai girls. Okay, so everybody, we got our Bahine, we got our Kane. Hey, and over here in Hawaii, I tell you, there's not like, oh, only the girls and then only the boys. Oh no. Boys and girls challenge in these games too, because again, is it only about just strength? Not to say that one is stronger than the other. Over here is unisex in most of all these games. Boys and girls, they challenge each other all the time. Yeah, because we can tell some of these local girls over here, no, you cannot play with us because you ain't girls. They take you right off that rock. Oh yeah, mai kai. Okay, so that was Pa'ilima. Mai kai. So you guys ready for another one? Okay, so we have any other volunteers want to go? We need at least 2 people. Let's see, any other hiding cameras? Anybody else? Who else wants to try? If not, then we can use our same again.
Yeah, I'm looking. Anybody else? Anybody else want to try? I know you guys need 2 people. All the aunties on here is like, I don't know.
I just feel it, yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go. Okay, we're just gonna use the youngins here then.
Oh, here we go. We have new competitors.
Oh yeah. Okay, my kai. Where they at? Oh,
Trish Wisen, Kamalani, Kamehameha. Oh,
aloha. Okay. So I see that ʻohana there, my kai. All right. So let's see. Next game. So that was Pa'ilima. Let's do now. Would be a fun one. Okay, you guys get space at your house. You get plenty room. Yeah, living room space. Okay, that's good. Okay, now let's see. So this next game is called. Well, there's a few different types of hakoko. Okay, there's the hakoko boxing. We're gonna skip that one. Okay, there's another type of hakoko which is a wrestle. Okay, and it's a placed wrestle. So we put you in a position. Okay, and then it's whoever can pull the other person out of that position. Okay, you guys ready for that one? Okay, so you ready? Okay, I might have to rearrange my camera a little bit so you guys can catch this. Okay, so you just gotta listen to some detail on this one. So both of you, you're gonna face each other. Yeah. Face each other, and you're gonna open up your feet a little bit outside of shoulder width apart. Yeah. So shoulder width apart, take like a step outside of that on both sides. Okay, so you wanna be a good base like that. Okay. And you wanna ʻaha. Okay, so you're gonna be bent here. Okay. Now both of you raise your right hand. Okay. Your right hand, I want you to reach around and grab the left, what do you call it? Calf of your partner. You're gonna grab their left calf like this. Okay. So reach down and grab their left calf. Okay. Yes, you gotta be close and tight. And then so with your right hand is on their left calf. Okay. Then I want you to take your am I mirroring this correctly? Your left hand, and you put your left hand on their right shoulder. Okay. So you got their calf and you got their shoulder. Okay. So it's good to be down, nice and low. Okay. I see a few guys going for it. Okay. Now the game here, you see that position? It's good to kind of bring your head down. You don't want to be stuck up like this, but you catch something in your throat. Okay. So kind of tuck down your face. Head should be side by side of this. Okay. You see that position? Okay. Come up for a second. Come up for a second. Okay. So in that position, the game here is to get the other person out of this stance. Okay. So you have leverage to pull on this leg and this left here. Okay. Once we begin, yeah, it starts in this position and it's just like this hooky. It's a pull and a push kind of going on, and you're trying to oppose that. So the goal is to get your partner's foot. Okay. You can go up, but you got to come right back down to the same spot. Okay. If you come up and move, you're out. Okay. So you're trying to get the other person to move their foot out of place. Little bit small kind motion, that's okay. But once you get pulled out of your position, out of your placement, you're out. Okay. So it really is about hunkering down, anchoring that weight. Okay. You know they're going to be pulling, so you're going to hold that, and it's this whole hooky, push and pull. Yeah. And you're going to get the other person, you're going to try to pull them out of place. Okay. Okay. Take your position. Okay. We're set. We're down. Right hand on the left calf. Now be careful. Try to make sure you grab the calf. Okay, and not the back of the knee. Try to grab the calf down here. Okay. Yeah. Good job. Good job. Okay. You here. Left hand on the shoulder. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to give you to the count of 3, kahilua kolu, and right on kolu, you're going to start, okay? And you try to get the other person. So anchor your weight. Ready? Makau, kahilua kolu, go. Whoa! Hey, my God. Whoa, those girls are go flying out of my screen over there. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Okay, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Okay, oh, you best out of tree. Okay, now second round, we're going to kuapo. Okay, second round, now grab the calf with your left hand and your right hand on the shoulder. Okay, you're going to switch it up. Okay, anchor it down, plant that weight. Makau, kahilua kolu. Oh yeah. Yeehaw! Oh! Okay. Now, if someone won twice, okay, they won. But I think up there with the Trish ʻohana, is it 1 and 1? Yeah. If it's 1 and 1, okay, then what you gotta do on the last count, if both players want to do right hand, left hand, then you're okay. Or if both players want left hand, right hand, that's okay. But if there's a competition of who wants the right side or who wants the left side, then you gotta flip a coin or something to break that. Yeah? So flip a coin, unless you're in agreement on which side you want to go with. Okay. If you don't agree, then you gotta flip a coin for that one, or in some way, let somebody do it. Okay. So I'm watching the Trish ʻohana there. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, you get straight? You get straight. I thought she was gonna go. You gotta do a tiebreaker, or she won. Okay, I got it kind of hear. So.
I think she decided she won.
Okay. Okay, we'll watch the boys one more time. Ready, boys? I'm watching you guys there. Ready? Makokau and kahilua kolu. Oh, my kae. Good job. Okay, and remember, in Makahiki, the biggest concept that we were always trained in is there is no such thing as a lilo. There's no losing, yeah? It's about strengthening yourself. So you identify where, if you didn't win, yeah, then you identify, okay, what can I do better? What can I do better this time? And every time you repeatedly do it, you try to change it up. Okay, so let those boys go one more time, because that was only one time. Okay, boys, hano. Okay, now you guys, switch your hands. Okay, whatever you did last time, switch your hands. Okay, we go with it. Okay, makokau, kahilua kolu. Hey, oh. Yeah, you're not gonna get me this time. Hey, my God, hey, good job. Hey, you lasted longer, yeah, so right there. Already, he's honing in on a skill, honing in on a strength. Very good. My Iloa. So this game, this wrestled position here is called ha-ko-ko. Okay, ha-ko-ko. Always remember, like hot cocoa? Yeah, like hot cocoa, ha-ko-ko. Okay. Oh yeah, my kai. Alrighty. You guys ready for the next one? Here's everybody. Yeah. Pailima, ha-ko-ko. Let's see, what'd be another good one? Okay. You guys ready? Now this one, very important. I need you guys to play, when you play this, just be conscious of your surroundings. Make sure you don't have a sharp edge or anything nearby, because we're going to be up and going. Normally we play this outside and in a little bit of a ring, like we make a circle, like maybe a 10-foot in diameter circle. So that's one way we play, and the objective in that place too, you can also win by pushing somebody out of a ring. If you don't have a ring, then the game is chosen by whoever loses their balance and or whoever puts their second foot down. This is hakamoa, chicken fight. You ready? Hawaiian chicken fight. Okay. Now there are a few different styles according to different islands and such that I've seen. So I'm going to teach you the one I know now. So hakamoa. Okay. So here we go. So, So you're going to fight face to face with your opponent. Let's start off with your, again, now this one, if you're right-handed, if both players are right-handed, then you're good. If both players are left-handed, then you're good. If it's vice versa, then on round one, you do one side, round two, you do the opposite, and the third round, if there is a third round, then you have to flip the coin, okay? So you're gonna take right hand, yeah, and you're gonna grip your partners, okay? So thumb to thumb. So you're not gonna make like this or anything. Like you're going. Wow, how do I show that? I only have two, a right and a left here. Yeah, but you're gonna grip. Let's see. Mema, can you come close to the screen and show the grip? There, you see that? So thumb to thumb, and then hands over the top like that. Okay? So you're gonna grip each other's hand like that. That's the grip. Let me see. Yes, perfect. Just like that. Thumb to thumb. Okay, so that's the grip. Okay. Now, if you have your right hand, then the opposite foot, if you're holding with the right, then lifts up your left. Okay. And your left foot is going to be poised behind you. Okay. Now, one rule for this style is we say no spurs. Okay. Your knee needs to stay behind. You cannot bring your knee over here. Knee needs to stay back here. Okay. Now, the objective is to get the other person to let go of their foot, okay, or to put their foot down, or to lose balance. So again, I'm putting out this caution right now. Watch your surroundings. I know we're learning inside right now, so just be conscious of that. Don't nobody but the head of the coffee table or something. Okay? So we're locked here. Okay? And it is a game where you're gonna be moving. Okay? Hop it back. You're trying to push and pull. Yeah. As well as the arm. Sometimes you can also lean in and use your shoulder to push somebody and get the other person to lose their balance. Okay. If you have a little, if you have enough space, maybe like I see Mema and Kohoku, you have the carpet. Maybe if someone steps off the carpet, that's another way you can set it. But most time we make a circle. Okay. We're doing our best what we can with Zoom, but okay. So watch your surroundings. Okay, right here. Now, if you let go of your foot, okay, you have 2 seconds to grab it again. Okay? If you let go and it touches the ground, you're out. Okay? You can only let go of your foot once. Okay? If you let go, catch it again, let go, you're out. Okay? You only have one chance to let go of your foot one time. Okay? And at all times, they hesitate back. Okay? No kneeing each other. You can use your body, you can use your chest. Okay? That's okay. All right? I think that's all the safety precaution. Watch each other's faces now with it. Yeah? No go in someone's face. Be careful. All right? You makakao? This is fun. I've never taught this over the computer before, so be careful. Makakao. Here we go. I'm going to now call it how old school we say oya. And oya is like 3. Ready? Oya. Yeah. Yeehaw! Oh, we got balancers. Good balance. Oh, may makatrol the couch. Oya. Hooky. Ah, good job. Oh, yeah. Makahiki, good job, you guys. Good sport. I would say the other thing I forgot. So if you're going and you're going a long time and then the hand breaks apart, if your hands separate, then it's a draw. Nobody wins if the hands separate. You can just do it as on the Makahiki fields in Waimea when we compete, though, if you separate hands 3 times, both out. So grip good. Yeah? Makahiki. All right. So any questions on that one? Makahiki, good fun, yeah. So remember again, when the best thing is if you are able to go outside and make yourself a nice circle ring, because that's the other way you can play is to also objective to push somebody out of the ring, okay, and or if you let go of your foot more than once, and or if you put your foot down, okay. I would say this game can get intense too. Kamehameha Makahiki tournament there is a Makahiki tournament that we started. God, it's probably been over 10 years now in Waimea, and it's open to all ages. From like we have the preschoolers come play, and all the classes play, then the college, and adults all come play, and even the kupuna play. And I tell you, when you see the uncles out there bouncing around doing this, it can get pretty. There's some roosters. It can get pretty brutal. Yeah. So, but main thing is that we enjoy and that we're honing in and strengthening our skills. Yeah. So Hakamoa, of course, you can see it's a tactic game. It's a game of skill. It's a game of strength. It's a game of balance. There's different strategies to that. We had more of a field. I could show you some of my tricks. I would tell you, I gotta say, Hakamoa was one of my games. I was a good Hakamoa player. All right, let's see. Let's get one more in here right now. Okay, this next one, Makakao, is called Pa'uma. Okay? Pa'uma. Okay? So Pa'uma is a play on of Uma, okay? Which is also, Uma is Hawaiian arm wrestle. Okay? We'll do that one. Actually, let's do Uma first, and then we'll do Pa'uma. Okay? So Uma, when we do Hawaiian Uma, okay, Hawaiian arm wrestle. Okay, so let's see. You're gonna who's got a good carpet view? Because no. I see Maya and Kohoku, but no tape. Or actually use that carpet over there. You're gonna lay down on your stomach. Yeah. Oh, so you guys are good sports. You my mannequin to display. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So good. You have good listening skills. Okay, so on your opu, on your stomachs, yeah, you're gonna lock up. Now, here's some tricks of the Hawaiian Uma. Your other hand needs to go on your back. Yeah. Yeah. So, and same thing here too. If you have 2 right-handers, you're good. If you have 2 left-handers, you're good. If you have a right and a left-hand player, first one, right hand or left hand, then you have to alternate the second. If there is a third round, flip a coin. Okay, so it's going to be on your back. And now you want to see something really tricky. Scoot close so that your elbows are actually straight up and down like this. Cannot be one behind the other, but that they're right here. So you're not making a triangle. It has to be more almost straight up and down. Okay, but again, side by side, not crossing. Okay? They have to be side by side steps. Okay, and that's going to be key. What that does, it takes away a lot of leverage. It really is just that one muscle. Okay. Okay. Now another aspect here, Hawaiian uma. This wrist cannot twist. There's some people that they start going, they twist like that. No twisting. It needs to stay straight from the elbow to here. So this wrist cannot be twisting like that. It has to stay straight. Okay. So the objective, that's why, is to get your hand to go straight down, and or the opponent's hand. Oh, how do I do that? To drop straight flat. So even when you get to the ground, you kind of make like that. You kind of curl your wrist up. It has to stay straight. Okay. That's why you have to stay here, because if they're lined up like this, then you kind of go. Okay. Also, when you're going, your elbows cannot leave the ground. If your elbow comes up off the ground, out. Okay. Keep your elbows on the ground. Other hand on your back. Okay. Some people I've seen them, they grab their foot or whatever. And I don't know. It's something about Hawaiian boys. A lot of them, when they grab their shorts. I don't know. They grab their shorts and they pull in their shorts for some reason. I don't know. But the other hand is got back. Okay. Let's see. What is the other aspect? Oh, another thing too. You have to keep your chest down, close to the ground. You kind of be up and using your body. Yeah. It really isolates that it's only this arm. Yeah. You cannot use your body. You cannot use any of that. So it's just straight up and down alongside each other. Okay. Straight down, straight up. No wrist action. Don't lift up your elbow. I know Hawaiian uma get plenty rules because we're isolating just this arm is all you got. Okay, you ready? Makau. Oh yeah. Hana ho. Maybe try switch hands. Whatever you just felt strong on, now try the other side. It's good to be ambidextrous too, yeah, and strengthen both sides. Okay. Hands are set. Hand on the back, elbows are close together. Okay, keeping the elbows on the ground, keeping the chest low to the ground. Makau. Oh yeah. Oh, me and Kahoku have a lock up there. Oh, see, we switch the hands. Okay, place your best.
Oh, come on.
Ooh.
Oh.
Maika'i. Good job. Was that a one-on-one? Oh, she's like, no, I want another round. Maika'i, you guys. That's okay. You just go do more push-ups and you're like, I get you next time. See, so when you identify someplace, you have a challenger, or you identify, maybe you might, oh my God, I'm not as strong as that as I thought. Then the ideal Hawaiian style, well then, throughout the year, during that hau season, that time of work, you're going to work on that, because next year, at the next tournament, I'm going to get you. Bye. So, Kulia, we striving. Okay? Don't pull no Nancy Kerrigan and try to take out the competition. No, you rise up to the competition. Okay? Okay. Maika'i kako. So now, we're going to go to that next, the standing pa'uma, which is basically the standing arm wrestle. So now, ku'iluna. All right. Oh, mahalo you guys for making this work. I was thinking, how am I going to teach these games on a computer Zoom call? Yeah. So good listeners. Okay. So now, facing your opponent. Okay. You're going to take a position here. Okay. Let's just start with our right hand. Yeah? So we're going to bring our right hand and right foot forward. So same hand, same foot. Right hand, right foot forward. Okay. That foot is going to be set here. Okay. You want to get yourself a good base. Yeah. Now, your feet. Oh, how do I show this? You're going to put your feet, yeah, your two opposing feet, yeah, side by side on the inside of the foot. So bring your two inside right foot alongside each other. Mema, you guys switch your feet. Yeah, you can see me, one. So the inside of, the outside of your foot are side by side. Okay. Yes, there you go. Yeah, side by side like that. Okay. On the outside, and you're positioned here. Okay. Now this game, that foot again, almost like pa'ilima, all the action gonna be up here, but the game is really called by those 2 feet together right there. When we play, the key thing is that foot in this game cannot move. Okay. So you really, one thing we do a lot of ankle stretching with this because you want to have a lot of flexibility with this foot, okay, without it falling out of place. Your back foot, it can move, okay. You can use this and brace yourself all over the place, but that foot cannot move, okay. Little bit even too. If that foot just, if that foot even just goes like, you're out. Yeah, if your heel comes out of place, you're out. Gotta stay put on this one. Your toes cannot come up, your heels cannot come up. Okay, gotta be firm. Okay. So again, all the action is gonna be up here, but the game is all watching that foot. Okay. So good position again. Now your other hand, okay, you can't use your other hand. Besides for leverage, I like to use it for like a for balance or couple with pull, but you cannot touch the other person with this hand. If any time you touch them, out, you out. Okay? You cannot touch the ground or anything with this other hand. Okay? It's basically just for leverage. Okay? Again, you can use this foot, okay, and basically trying to pull each other. You can push with your shoulder. The goal is to get the other person to move that foot. Okay, so that's where all the game is. Okay? I thought it's a very interesting thing, Hawaiian games. You get all the big picture action, everyone watching that, but really the game is a small little thing that you don't really watch. Okay? So it's gonna be hard for me to call it, so it's gonna be your honesty. So if you move your foot or something, we makokau. We try run around. Ready? Hang on, boys. Reset yourself. Set yourself up. Here we go. Makokau. Oya. Yeah.
Rematch. Okay, rematch. Okay, rematch.
Girls, get out, go. Hey, Maika'i.
Kamehameha.
Alright, so I was rematch.
Now again, if you want on one side, try switch, go opposite, go left and left. Okay, foot on the outside. Okay, and go ahead, you count them. Oya. You identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses that you're gonna work on. Oh yeah, good job. Oh, these girls get balance. They must be full of dancers. Maika'i. Oh yeah. Oh, wow, Maika'i girls. Oh, look, Tisa when come take her on. Good job. Take them to the ground. Down. Yes, the boys get them. Hee-ha. Firm that foot. Push, pull. Use your back leg too. I'm watching Nicholas get him now. You can use that back foot. Step far out. Okay? I like to step this back. Pull them off that base. Whoop, that one almost went into the wall. All right. Maika'i. Give him. Oh, they're back at it. All right, I got my Neymar and them are still going. Oh, ow. Yee. Oh, wow, look at that stretch. She's still up. Yeah, go. Whoa, this is where every girl finds their inner tita. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh, good job, Maika'i loa. Oh, Nicholas, can you go one more time? Oh Good job. All right. Awesome. Oh, they're back at it. Oh, they like this one. All right. Okay. Ooh, now everyone's like, oh, no. I like all around. No, I'll do it again. Oh, maikai loa, maikai. The big thing, yeah? So, how you guys feel? Put in your chat right now. How you feel, our players right now? How are you feeling? Oh, maikai? Excellent. Good job. You know what? The best part of Makahiki, what I'm looking at, I'm seeing smiles. Okay? We're seeing that smile. We feel that joy. Okay? And you'd be surprised. And I would say, when I remember watching, the first time I went, when we just started our Kamehameha community Makahiki, one of the most beautifulest things I saw was, it was different from going to a regular game or regular sporting event, even though it was full competition. That whole field, all you heard was laughter and smiles. And I tell you, even when like the adults were playing and people were getting slammed on the ground, we never saw anybody throw a hussy fit or, get all pissed off because they lost or because they got hit. And people like, full on, I've seen like bloody noses, all kinds of stuff. But there's always malama each other, take care of each other. And I've never once seen a competition where anybody got all nuha. You are stepping onto the playing field. You know that there's risk to the games, and that's why we all abide by the rules as best that we can. But I will say, just especially the example of watching, I will say teenagers and adults. Because that's actually the age group that gets the most attitude. Teenagers and adults. Adults especially, they're not going to handle. Yeah? They always think about, they get all flustered. So it's beautiful that at the Makahiki, because it's probably, I will almost call it a couple, that to maintain a pono attitude, that's part of, again, in this tournament, there's a ritual, there's a ceremony happening. Okay? This whole tournament is presided over. You look to the side and you get the Lonoikamakahiki, the akua loa looking at you. Yeah, the gods are presiding over this. Your ali'i, your kupuna, your ʻohana are all there. And it holds us accountable to what we're really doing. We're trying to lift the energy of our community. Yeah? We're trying to instill joy and happiness and celebration. Yeah? And it's really, really a beautiful thing. And I can only attest, if you guys go onto YouTube later afterwards and put Kamehameha Makahiki, I think there's a lot of videos on there too, and you'll see some really, really great tournaments. And I can just speak to being there, just the joy. Yeah? And we start, Kamehameha Makahiki starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. And you have hundreds of people, all different schools come out from pre-K to 12th grade. You got adults coming, kupuna coming, and in some years, pour rain all day. They still play all day. Okay? So beautiful thing to see how we can be competitive. We can still, do, but we maintain. Sometimes it means putting a god above your head to remind you to be in a good mindset. Because if not, to bring that bad hanaino, to bring that anger or jealousy or that kind of energy, you taint the ceremony. Yeah, you would disrupt the pule and the physical prayer that's happening in that space. Yeah? And that's something that particularly nowadays that we enforce, yeah, with our school and our community, that we're not going to go in like into the Western sporting kind of concepts and just this kind of roughing kind of competition and or attitudes. But trust, we compete, but we don't have to be negative to each other. There's enough of that, yeah? There's too much of that. So shifting it back, that we are here to show our excellence and to recognize our strengths and to recognize some of our weaknesses. So with the intention to go and make that stronger. So healthy competition in the sense of helping to lift each other up. I remember, oh God, I don't know what year that was when I remember beating a neighboring student from, I think it was like from Kona or something. I beat him in Hakamoa. Yeah. And he phoned up and we aloha each other and we were talking story, and he was like, hey, can you actually teach me? So I shook him on the shoulder because I use this particular move that I kind of made up. And I could have been like, well, I'm teaching you. But I was like, sure. But because I know you're not going to do it as good as I can. So if I'm really, really good at my skill, then you know what? I'll teach you and see if you can challenge me. Because if he does, I never got to compete with him after that. But if he does come back and beat me, hey, then I got work cut out for me to get out. We help lift that bar, yeah? So maintaining that in a fun way is really important, especially for now, in these days, more aloha, more pono, yeah? So for my young ones, when you play, I would always teach my students this. Makahiki games, now, because I also taught in the schools, yeah? Kids like to play on the playground, but it's a physical game, yeah? So I always made that very rule. It's like, you are responsible for protecting these ancient games. Okay? You need to maintain, yeah, pono, to pale and seal and protect them. Yeah. Because if you're on the field, if you're gonna go play on the side and you're gonna not do it correctly and someone gets hurt, you're not gonna get to play them anymore. Yeah. Because one, for me, that's a disrespect to the game. That's a disrespect to our kupuna who made that and all that skill if you don't do it correctly. And or if you're playing and you're getting all upset and mad and everything and you try to intentionally hurt somebody, you are now that is desecrating the game. That is desecrating the sport in Makahiki. So now you realize how the games also influence us to train our mental and spiritual selves. Yeah. Because, it'd be something. I've played one time and, this guy, what were we doing? We're playing there's another pa'i uma that we do where we actually, almost like sumo style, but you got to crack each other in the chest to get each other off. And this guy went out of place and he would catch me right in my face, bust my lip. And I could have got mad. Yeah, I could have. But no, I'm on the Makahiki, so I can't do it. Blonde, everything come. It's okay. It's okay. Especially then, right there, brother was also not like, hey, I got him. He was like, oh my God, are you okay? And he came to Malama. I was like, it's okay, it's okay. But if he was going to be any kind like that, would I hold my temper? Would I allow myself to fall out of alignment with the Makahiki? Self-discipline. Self-discipline. Yeah. Like kapu aloha. Totally. Maintaining that. Some people would say, that's weak. Yeah, you can't have scrap them, you can't have fight them, I'm weak. Really, what would you think is harder to do? Someone cracked me in the face. Yeah. Is it harder for me to compose, yeah, and just take care? Or is it harder to get all nuts and fight and try to knock them out? Which one do you think is harder? Maintain their peace or anger? Which one is harder, do you think? Harder for you to do, maintain the peace or get on nuts? Yes.
Maintain the peace.
Aye. Maintain the peace. That's hard. That's super hard. So a stronger person would be able to take that hard path. A weaker person is going to take the easy route. Okay? And too much nowadays, especially look at society today, look at all these hotheads going off and yelling and screaming and getting into wars and arguments for all this kind of stuff. Weak. Yeah, where is the strength? Where is that spiritual mana? Makahiki is a good training tool like that. So imagine that every single year, people come together, the whole community comes together. They compete, they play, that's on the tournament field. Now imagine happening where I'm bringing out my biggest, bestest kalo. Well, the other farmer will come bring out his biggest, bestest kalo too. And now it's kind of a competition. Now I can get mad and I'm going to go sabotage and break his and go rip out his kalo because I'm jealous of him. No, I'm like, oh, brother, what kind of compost you using? I like learn that. I like my car don't get me like that. He's like, hey, I show you. That's my kai, to lift our community. Yeah, we strive for that. Yeah, the artisan, maybe all the kappa makers that come on, they're showing they present their bestest, finest, beautiful kappa. Someone else comes and presents their finest, beautiful kappa, and perhaps they're like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Can you share me? What did you do on that part? Now, some artists might be like, oh, I'm not going to say this is my secret. It's my secret. Then it's going to challenge me like, oh, I want something like that. I'm going to figure it out. Or I'm going to make something. Do you see how we can look at it that way? Or we can allow, I'm not saying Hawaiians was perfect. Trust. We know that too. We've learned it in our history. Kanaka, I'm sure they were like, I'm sure there was that too. But that again, we're not going to excel that to be the highest caliber of who we are. Okay? We recognize that yes, that has happened, but are we going to strive for that then? Are we going to strive for the weakest point of our history and our culture? Or do we strive for the highest point? Yeah. And that's something that the society of the world needs to continue to start looking at right now. How can we engage with each other in a pono way? What really is strengthening our communities? What really is bringing mana to ourselves? What brings mana to our community, to our family? Yeah. So with that, I think we're just about at time now. I want to open up again for times of questions, but I guess to kind of wrap up the game, there are many, many more games too. Maybe another time I can show you guys some more, but you're free to go up on YouTube and go Google it. A lot of this stuff is being shared now, different types of games and stuff too. But what I really want, because anyone can just teach you a game, okay? I want you to really see that maluhia, yeah, that peace that can be still exemplified even on a field of competition, yeah. And in the ocean, we had games, all kinds of games. From the ocean, you had canoe paddling, you had swimming, you had cliff diving, you had surfing, yeah. In the mountains, we had cliff diving, jumping off with the lupes, with the kites and kite flying and ulumaika, mopahe'e, ihe, o'o'ihe. We have so much different games, yeah, and different things that we can excel and lift ourselves at, yeah. So overall, too, I always say, does it help to beautify your life? Does it help to strengthen you as a person, mentally, physically, spiritually? Because when Lono comes, it is time to present our bestest. And if you feel hila, that's kind of the closing thing here. If you had to go and present yourself to the high chiefs, you had to present yourself to the akua, and you are feeling shame because, I don't like them to see that. Well, then you better check your life. That's an opportunity. That's why every year we get to check ourselves. And if we carry these kind of teachings with us, then we check ourselves every day. For me, I try to every day in my morning prayers, I'm checking myself. I recognize what I did the day before. I recognize the good things that I want to keep going. I recognize my mistakes and my slip-ups. I'm gonna acknowledge them. I'm not gonna let them rule me, but I'm gonna acknowledge them so I can holomua and ho'oikaika. Yeah? So in that aspect, Makahiki just helps to exemplify these very traits that we need to carry with us really all the time. Yeah? But it is a time for us to rise to our zenith, rise to our highest, expo, display, share, and strive for our best in every aspect of our life. And hone in on your particular strength, your particular skill, and master it. And take it to a new level. Yeah? Hit the highest level, and then try to kulia and strive up more. Yeah? So, Eano ka Manaʻo o ka pa'ani makahiki kulia kako. Oh yeah, mai kai.
Oh, mahalo.
I realized we never take break. Yeah, sorry.
Mai hopopo. Mahalo nui ya oi.
Mahalo nui ya oto.
All right. Well, I want to mahalo everybody for being here. Again, mahalo ya Lanakila, no ko Manaʻo, ko ʻike, ko aloha no mākou ma'aniʻi ʻOlekona, a me wakine kona. To all of you folks who came today, mahalo to our volunteers who volunteered today. Volunteered, same smell. Mahalo nui loa. So we're at our fun part of our evening, especially because Lanakila once again shared so much ʻike with us. So we have some ninaos, and we have some fun giveaways. One we have from Kahana Ibi, this beautiful ʻeke, and reusable dishwasher safe, the reusable straws, spoons, everything you can hold in your ʻeke, so we can be more environmental friendly. Yeah, we don't have to use our plastic forks and knives. So we have this prize from, you guys cannot answer by me, you need to go answer by the chat. Yeah. Okay, so that's one, there's one prize here. And then we also have kumu cards again. Yep, to Olelo. And our big prize, our last prize tonight, because we are doing Makahiki games just to promote Makahale. We have a beautiful konane board from Akau boards. Yeah, this one is made with one tree and koa. Another tree that I cannot say the name, Formosa
koa.
Oh, thank you. See, mahalo. Learning every day. It's a 6x6 konani board. This is gonna be a big prize. Okay, it's gonna be a big one at the end. So we have all our prizes. So we ready? Okay. Our first email, and mahalo Auntie Chris. Auntie Chris put an email out there for us, and if we was paying attention, we will know. Okay, for this beautiful eke and the kumu cards. Yeah, with our reusable straws and forks and spoons and everything. The question is, where on the big island did our ali'i arrive to do the procession around the island?
Ooh.
I gotta go to the bottom. Who said it first? Makani and Becca. You gotta turn your camera on so we can see you. Mai kai. Yep, Kalakikwa.
Oh yeah.
And Makani and Becca, I will throw in. Look, I get all this out of. I will throw in lehua sanitizer holders. Yeah, if you can tell me what direction do they go as they go on the procession. Makani and Becca now. Okay. Mai kai. You get to have 2 hand sanitizers because there's 2 of you. Mai kai. Mahalo. Okay, happy dance over here. Good job. All right. Oh, maybe they cannot turn on the camera. Oh, host won't let us turn on our camera. I don't know what that means, but sure. Mekai. Okay. Oh, there you guys are. Mahalo. Woohoo. All right, so for the konani board, and I love akau boards, makamoku puni o kaku, have on Oahu, and they also, if you don't know how to play konani, they break it down for us in the backyard. Oh. A beautiful konani board. Okay, so the question. Okay, you guys ready? You sure? Make sure it has to be in the chat. You cannot come by me by my desk. You cannot text me. You cannot yell from the other room because you're over there. Okay, our makakau. So the question is, what is the Hawaiian inoa? Yeah, what is the Hawaiian inoa that Lanakila gave us for traditional fields that the Makahiki tournament would take place at?
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, waialoha, mai kai, kahua Makahiki. Oh, you know, this is yours.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Konane is yours. Woo! And you live right down the street. Can pick them up easy. Oh, my kai.
Mahalo. I cannot even type fast too.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to try and lehua sanitizer for you, buddy. All right. Mahalo nui loa, yo ko. You know, and again, make sure when we come into this, learn. Yeah. Don't just, and then apply. Yeah. we gotta use it. You gotta hold mama. Yeah, there's that ho'opa'a, but you gotta hold mama before you ho'opa'a. So make sure you're using it. All right. So before we go to that, I'm actually gonna invite Shane with the membership committee. He's gonna share some information about membership, and then we're gonna have Aaron Hedani come in right after him. Go ahead, Shane.
Aloha makako. My name is Kili Hart, and I'm a proud founding member of Kalo and a member of the membership committee. We at Kalo want to thank you all for participation during the first Aloha, the first annual Lonoikamakahiki presentation. www.kalohcc.org. During this four-week period of Lonoikamakahiki, we will be offering $5 off membership to each person that joins, as well as renewal.
Shane, Kalamai, I think you're freezing up. Kalamai, I think Shane is freezing. Kalamai, just a reminder, membership, we have a $5 off for new membership and as well as renewals. You know, you have our email. We have membership.chair@kalohcc.org for more information, or please visit our website, www.kalohcc.org. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Aaron to close us out.
Mahalo le. Aloha mai, my name is Aaron Helenihi, and I am the Political Action Director of Kalo HCC. This year, in the wake of the global pandemic, Kalo HCC joined the Oregon Pacific Islander Coalition to join in solidarity with other leaders of the Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander communities to address the social, economic, and health disparities our Pacifica community faces in light of COVID-19. If you have any interests or questions regarding the Political Action Committee, please send an email to kalaiaina@kalohcc.org or visit the website at kalohcc.org. Mahalo nui loa e Lanakila for joining us today and sharing your ʻike with all of us. You're an inspiration, and we are so privileged to be able to continue to learn from you. As many of you know, Lanakila's work is extremely vai-vai. We also know that we are all navigating through a very unique time. If you are able to, please consider If you're able to, please consider making a donation through Lanakila's Venmo, or if you do not have Venmo, you are welcome to send a donation via our website and we will get that out to Lanakila. Please also visit the website of the Hawaiian Culture Center of Hamakua at www.hccof.com to support his efforts in the preservation of the Hawaiian culture. Also, if you haven't heard, Lanakila is running for ʻOhana Trustee of Hawaiʻi Island. Please share your support with your ʻohana and ask them to vote for Lanakila in this upcoming election. For more information or ways to support, visit www.lanakilaforoha.com. We would also like to send out a heartfelt mahalo to KSAA of Oregon and Southwest Washington for providing funding to support this incredible opportunity for all. Mahalo nui to our executive board, the education committee, and most of all, our members. We are able to build connections within our communities because of all of you. For more information or ways to be involved, please email kaelele@kalohcc.org or visit kalohcc.www.kalohcc.org. Again, mahalo for joining us, and we will see you next week, Saturday, October 17th at 5 p.m. Ahui ho kako.
Mahalo. Aloha.